Welcome inside the ballpark at Old Orchard Beach on this beautiful Thursday afternoon for yet another round of Greater Northeast Collegiate Baseball League action. Tonight we'll be watching the 4-2 Nor'easters take on the 1-3-1 Norsemen. We are just moments away from getting started. Lineups for both teams for the visiting Nor'easters: Gus Lappin, Chris Balzano, Luke Chessie, Dawson Gunlaw, Michael Warren, Andrew Merrill, Brett Federico, Dylan Furman, Jack LeBlond, and Quinn McCaffrey make up the 10-man lineup, with Michael Warren doing split duties as designated hitter and pitcher. Meanwhile, on the home Norsemen side, Anthony Poole, Chris Cimino, Kyle Dewin, Riley Hassan, Ben Seguin, Nate Rogers, Kevin Connolly, David Jurowitz, Davis Kibler, and David York make up the 10-man lineup, with Gavin Rostrom on the mound for them as the Norsemen will take the field. I'm Charlie Fellows, bringing you this action, bringing you right now the Norsemen fielding battery of Ben Seguin at first, Davis Kibler at second, Riley Hassan at shortstop, Kyle Dewin at third, Nate Rogers out in left, Anthony Poole in center, and David Jurowitz in right, with David York doing the catching for Gavin Rostrom. The leadoff man for this one will be Gus Lappin of head coach Max Zalewski's 4-2 league-leading Nor'easters. Lappin is a junior at Hassan, graduate of South Portland High School. He's at third base tonight. Batted .194 with 8 runs batted in, 2 stolen bases on the season at Hassan, while majoring in marketing. Meanwhile, the pitcher he will be facing off against is Gavin Rostrom, a junior at USM, native of Sabattis up near Augusta, a graduate of Oak Hill High School up in Wales, which is the town right next door. Made 4 appearances for USM his sophomore year, all of them starts. 5.79 ERA, .333 batting average allowed in 14 innings pitched. A 6'2 accounting major, getting ready to square off against his first opponent as we are just about set to get going. Lappin will stand in. Rostrom will deal. And we're underway with a strike right down the middle to get things going. That's outside. The Norsemen are 1-3-1. They're 4th and last in the league currently, as that's fouled back for strike 2. The league will gain a 5th team this Sunday when Maine Lightning joins the fray, a team full of very talented rising freshmen, the defending league champions. As Rostrom deals, it's outside, 2-2. If you want to catch some of that action, tune in to the GNCBL YouTube channel you're currently watching this broadcast on. You're sure to see some. That's just outside, brings the count full. Rostrom's first payoff pitch, swing and a miss for a strikeout. Starts him off well as Lappin sits down. First K in the books already for Rostrom. And that will bring up Chris Balzano, the center fielder, junior at Roger Williams. Graduated from Bridgeton Academy after 4 years at Thornton Academy. Saco native. Looks at strike 1. Batted .261 on 23 at-bats. 6 of them hits. For Roger Williams his past campaign, as that one is way outside to the backstop for ball. Majored in political science. Looks at a ball inside. That is just outside for ball 3. I suppose I should qualify. The forecast currently calls for heavy rain on Sunday, so the Lightning debut may be delayed until further notice, but all we can do is hope. That was a swing and a miss to bring the count once again full, the second in as many batters for Rostrom. He got the upper hand last time. What will Balzano do here? The payoff pitch. That one is a comebacker, hit towards second base. Throwing on to the first baseman, Seguin, to retire Balzano. Quick 2 outs. On the grounder to the second baseman, Davis Kibler. And that will bring up the hot-hitting Luke Chessie, playing second base tonight. He's second in the GNCBL in batting average this season. Only Sam Algieri is hitting the ball better as he swings and misses at strike 1. Senior at Bowdoin, Thornton Academy graduate, along with the man that batted just before him. That's outside for ball 1. Hit .262 with 3 home runs. Slugged .437 his junior year at Bowdoin, while also doubling as a pitcher. That is low. And an effective pitcher he was. Made 6 appearances, 3 of them starts, 4.15 ERA, 17 and a third innings pitched, 8 strikeouts. Certainly nothing to sneeze at. But he's been making his money with the bat. So he has 2 emphatic cuts already. Neither of them drew leather, but Rostrom looking to sit him down for a nice 1-2-3 frame to open this one. And he'll do just that. His second strikeout of the inning leaves Chessie shaking his head as we head to the bottom of the first here in Old Orchard. Second inning, or bottom of the first, second frame, I should say, to begin shortly with Michael Warren on the mound for the Nor'easters and the defense around him. Quinn McCaffrey at first, Luke Chessie at second, Jack LeBlond at shortstop, and Gus Lappin at third. In the outfield, Chris Balzano in left, Brett Federico in center, and Andrew Merrill in right, with Dylan Furman doing the catching for Michael Warren. And the 1-2-3 of batters Warren will face in this frame: Anthony Poole, Chris Chimino, Kyle Doohan. Michael Warren is a junior at St. Joseph's, a Ellington, Connecticut native. Graduated from East Catholic High School in Ellington. Stands at 6'1". Made his money, or I should say, made most of his experience, his previous campaign as a hitter, hitting .260 with 15 runs batted in, 3 steals. Also has a GNAC all-rookie team under his belt as a freshman. But he is taking the mound today for this one. And the man he will face first off, ready to step in, Anthony Poole, a junior at USM. Native of South Portland, one of many on both sides in this game. Hit .308 with 3 doubles, 7 runs batted in his sophomore year at USM while majoring in marketing. Which is a different major, I'm told, from accounting, which is the major his pitching teammate chose as he hits that one toward right field. That is just foul. Looked like it might land in fair ground for a second, but a few feet over. It's allowed strike one. Inside for a ball. Warren also made all GNAC third team in addition to the year he made a rookie team. That was 2022 as a freshman with St. Joseph's. That's a cut and a miss for strike two. Got him with a breaking ball action there. The matchup of Southern Maine college students. You'll see many of those over the course of any game. That's chopped down the line toward third and unable to be fielded cleanly by Gus Lappin, and he is going to have himself a base hit. That was a bounding ball. Would have been a very difficult play, but as it stands, the first man of the game aboard for the Norsemen. And the next man up is Chris Cimino, senior at Bates. So he looks at strike one, a Scarborough native. Cheverus High School graduate, had 25 at-bats as a junior, got hit in 2 of them. Excuse me, he hit .318 with 2 home runs and 6 doubles. Just looking at the wrong Scarborough native and Cheverus graduate there. Made the NESCAC All-Academic team in 2023, which is no small feat in a conference that features teams such as Bowdoin, Bates, Tufts, Wesleyan, the cream of the academic crop. Cimino 1-1. Looks at a strike. That was just on the edge. 1-2 count. Man on first. Runner goes. That's lined into left field. Down for a base hit. That was right on the foul line. That's rolling all the way to the corner. Rounding third is Poole, and he is going to score standing up. An RBI double here in the top of the first inning. And the Norsemen are on the board. Chris Cimino, a great piece of hitting there right down the left field line. It took a long time for the Nor'easters left fielder Balzano to reach it. And by the time he could, Anthony Poole was just about rounding third. And he scored standing up. Now the man taking a strike is Kyle Dewan, the Augusta native, Coney High School graduate, hitting .316 with 2 home runs. As a sophomore or a freshman rather, at USM, currently a sophomore. Looks at a ball low. So the Norsemen already in business here, still not out. Man on second, a run in. Looking to make up a game in the standings. Still early, of course. That is chopped foul right at the plate for strike 2. Doing a mechanical engineering major, as well as a 4-sport athlete in high school. I'm not sure how one does that, but he found a way. In addition to baseball, he competed in football, basketball, and golf. As he lines the 1-1 foul, or 1-2, excuse me. So the Count will remain 1-2. May as well have been the 1-1. I apologize, the camera angle that we have right now has a bit of a dead zone in the left field corner, which is exactly where that double went. But it went exactly how you'd expect. The fielder tracked it down. That one chopped right toward first. And running on to make the force play is the first baseman McCaffrey to get the first out of the inning. Advancing to third is Cimino. So doing advancing the runner, just one out, a man on third now for the cleanup hitter Riley Hassan. At shortstop tonight, senior Johnson & Wales hit .430 with 6 home runs and 64 RBI. As a junior at Johnson & Wales, South Portland native, or rather he managed those numbers at St. Anselm before transferring to Johnson & Wales. Bloops that one back foul. Shares a major with the man that came around to score, Anthony Poole. They're both marketing majors. Outside for ball one. Inside for ball two. Mentioned it at the beginning of the broadcast, but it is a beautiful afternoon here. Not a cloud in the sky. High 60s. Not set to get a little bit cooler as the evening progresses, but still, you couldn't really ask for better conditions to play a game of baseball. That one just outside for ball three. And though the camera angle we're working with may not show it, there is a decent crowd here today. Swing and a miss for strike two. No baseball fan can pass up a good old game at the Old Orchard Beach Ballpark. That is going to be outside for ball four. So men on the corners now with one away. Now we'll bring up the fifth hitter, first baseman Ben Seguin, sophomore at St. Joseph's. Looks low at a ball. Scarborough native, had 4 at-bats as a freshman, 2 strikeouts, no hits. He is the everyday first baseman for this squad. Grounds that one toward third. Throwing home, a high throw, but the catcher, Dylan Furman, able to corral it and get the out to prevent a second run from scoring. That is a fielder's choice for Seguin, as Cimino is gunned down at home. Now it will be Nate Rogers, senior at St. Michael's, with 2 away, men on first and second. That one all the way to the backstop, and both runners will advance. Wild pitch got away from Furman. So now 2 men in scoring position. First wild pitch of the game for Michael Wern. He's had a rough go of it this opening frame, but he can end it with just 1 run of damage if he can sit down Nate Rogers, and one strike away from doing just that as Rogers looks that one go by. Rogers is the 2 hits in 25 at-bats player that I erroneously read the stat line of before. He's a Portland native, Cheverus High School graduate. His father played baseball at Bowdoin, Matthew Rogers. One, two, low for ball two. Wern can get out of this with minimal damage, but a base hit would mean at least one, likely 2 runs, as with 2 outs there running on contact. The 2-2, that is grounded up the middle off the mound. Shortstop has it, throwing on to first to retire the side. So Norsemen leave 2 men in scoring position, but the opening man, Anthony Poole, comes around to score to give them a 1-run advantage. We head to the second inning. To the second inning we go. After a flawless inning of work, Gavin Rostrom will face off against the heart of the Nor'easter lineup here in this second frame. The trio of Dawson Gunlaw, Michael Wern, and Andrew Merrill. First up at the bat will be Gunlaw, an extra hitter tonight. Senior at St. Joseph's. York native, York High School graduate. And that'll hit him. So a very different start to this frame, as Gunlaw is aboard. The first base runner allowed for Rostrom. Now the pitcher will take the bat, Michael Wern. He's also the designated hitter. He's a rising junior at St. Joseph's, college teammates with the man on first. Bunts that one down the third base line, just foul. Also a middle infielder with St. Joseph, so truly a gadget player, just the kind of asset every team wants. Throwing over to first now is Rostrom. Hit that one hard towards shortstop. On to second base one, and throws it high above Seguin. There's no way he was getting that. And into second base, Michael Wern will trot. That was a throwing error for the shortstop Riley Hassan. Threw that about 2 feet above the 5'7" Ben Seguin. Though, I think he probably could have been 6'7" and still might not have had a shot at that. So Gunlaw thrown out, the fielder's choice, but Wern able to get to second on the E6. And that will bring up Andrew Merrill. Let's get some discussion here for the Norsemen manager, Matt Rogers, and the umpire. Just getting some confusion cleared up. Well, the man about to stand in is Andrew Merrill, rising sophomore at East Connecticut State. Graduate of Oxford Hills Comprehensive High School. It appears whatever the confusion was has been resolved. And Merrill will bat. He played his club baseball in high school with River Rats, Many of those games in this very stadium. So we are set to resume play. Stands at 6'2". The exact same height as the opposing pitcher. That one's grounded over to third. And once again, an errant throw into Seguin. That one wasn't over his head, didn't give an extra base to anybody, but Seguin expressing his frustration there. 2 straight throws that he could not have possibly done anything with. The runner will not advance, but runners on first and second with 1 away here. And Brett Federico into bat. Senior at St. Lawrence. Looks at a ball. One of my all-time favorite names I've gotten to say repeatedly as a play-by-play broadcaster. Rolls right off the tongue. Marlborough, Massachusetts native. St. Mark's High School graduate. Hit .365 with 4 doubles. Got on base 40% of the time with St. Lawrence as a junior, while making the Liberty League all-academic squad. So despite all these base runners, the Nor'easters are still technically hitless as a swing and a miss for strike 2. Their base runners this inning have consisted of a hit by pitch and 2 errors. Rostrom's 1-2. Grounded foul into the Nor'easter dugout. Federico can help even the score in the early innings of this one. Rostrom in the beginnings of a bind, but a second out would do wonders. That one's low, brings the count even. Rostrom's 2-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. A huge strikeout. Rostrom's 3rd of the game. He has been dealing. 3rd swinging strikeout as well, so that stuff is rendering hitters helpless, and Dylan Furman will seek to change that trend. He is catching today. He looks at a ball. Sophomore at USM, Stratham, New Hampshire native. Graduate of Exeter High School 2 years ago. Had 12 at-bats as a freshman, hit .417 across them. That's chopped toward the shortstop. Throws on to second to retire the side. So 3 base runners, but no runs. Gavin Rostrom able to make it out of the jam. And a 1-0 ball game it remains. Kevin Connolly ready to stand in as the bottom of the second is about to get underway. Connolly in the transfer portal right now. After 1 year at Stonehill. Cheverus High School graduate. As Warren fires in strike 1. That's outside for a ball. Warren thus far, 2 hits allowed, 1 run, 1 walk, and 1 wild pitch. And that's a bunt laid down. The third base line. Wern will field it and throw it over to first base, but that is off the bag. Great piece of hitting there by Kevin Connolly. He is aboard with a hit. The third of the game for the Norsemen. Now we'll bring up the 9-hitter David Jurowitz, a rising sophomore at St. Joseph's. Sudbury, Massachusetts native. Stands in with a man on and none out. So I was saying, considering that the Norsemen left that inning in the bottom of the first with men on second and third, it could have been a lot worse for Wern and the Nor'easters. This could easily be a 3-run ball game, and of course, Chris Cimino got thrown out at home as well. So in an alternate reality, we might be talking about a 4-0 ball game here in the bottom of the second. Instead, 1 run is all they mustered. As Wern throws in ball 2. Chop foul toward his own dugout. The man on deck, Davis Kibler, fielded that one. Two and 2 count. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. First strikeout of the game for Michael Wern to sit down the first man of the inning. Jurowitz will head to the dugout, and Davis Kibler, the left-hander, rising freshman at Southern Maine Community College, will step in. He's at second base tonight. Looks at a ball. Augusta native, Coney High School graduate. This past season at Coney, he hit .348 with 8 RBIs. While his Coney squad went 15-1. Just outside for ball 2. So Kibler, accustomed to winning. The trend has not exactly continued here in the GNCBL, but so far, his team has the edge. That one right on the edge of the strike zone. 2-1 count. Kevin Connolly's safe at first after a pickoff attempt. That's hit high into left field, into foul territory, and onto the dirt. Nobody could make it there in time. That was a long run. Both the shortstop Jack LeBlanc and the left fielder Chris Balzano theoretically had a shot at it, but neither of them could cover that much ground, and so it will fall as a strike. Wern's 2-2. Chop down the line. Rolling foul. Quinn McCaffrey made the decision to let that one roll. If he had gotten his glove on it, might have gotten an out. Kibler fighting to stay alive in this at-bat. It's what you got to do to hit .348 at any level of the sport. Have good plate discipline. And that's what we've seen here. Wern's 2-2 outside for a ball. Connolly had a mind to steal, but Kibler waved him back. Payoff pitch. inside for ball 4. So 2 men aboard. Kibler will take first base. Connolly into second, and the 10th and final man in this lineup, his name is David York, will step in. He's doing the catching today. Sophomore at Husson. That's the second walk of the outing for Wern. That one is low for a ball. York is a Kennebunk native, Kennebunk High School graduate. Hit .242 with 4 doubles, 17 runs batted in as a freshman at Husson. That's ball 2. Wern having some trouble finding the strike zone here. With 2 men aboard and 1 out, he had a great strikeout of David Jurowitz, but since then has struggled to throw strikes consistently. That's blooped into shallow center field, and Jack LeBlanc will hardly have to move to make that put out. So 2 away. And the top of the lineup will begin anew with Anthony Poole. He singled his first time up and scored on the Chris Cimino double. Wern's first pitch is hit and caught. That was an incredible catch by Jack LeBlanc, jumping up with a glove above his head and able to secure the catch to retire the side. No runs in, despite some rocky stretches. The 3rd inning will begin with just a 1-run deficit. The Norsemen will try to extend it. The Nor'easters will try to erase it here in Old Orchard. 2 innings of no-hit ball in the books for the Norsemen starting pitcher Gavin Rostrom. He will try to make it a 3rd against Jack LeBlanc, Quinn McCaffrey, and Gus Lappin due up in this top of the 3rd. Jack LeBlanc, the first of the 3. Senior at USM at shortstop tonight. Lewiston native. Grounds that one back at the pitcher underneath his glove. Sliding stop as the second baseman throwing on to Seguin, but just not in time. For once, a good throw in to Ben Seguin, but could not quite. If it had been just a couple seconds earlier, the second baseman Davis Kibler had to make the Luke Chessie had to make that is Davis Kibler. The second baseman had to make a diving stop and was unable to get the out in time. And so Jack LeBlanc is aboard for Quinn McCaffrey, a rising freshman at American International. Jack LeBlanc taking a pretty big lead at first. Rostrom knows that is the first hit of the game allowed by the Norseman pitcher. 3 straight throws back to first. McCaffrey is the first baseman, Brunswick High School graduate. Runner goes, strike, in, and safe for a successful steal. Jack LeBlanc down to second now. The catcher York had a good throw, but that giant lead being taken by LeBlanc, able to net him a stolen base. That's ball 1. Again, there's a discussion here now between the umpire and the Nor'easter manager, Max Selewski. Quickly resolved. 1-1 the count. LeBlanc, a sizable lead at second. Rostrom deals inside for ball 2. Foul back. Two. Outside brings the count full. McCaffrey, good awareness of the outside curve. Rostrom's payoff pitch. Grounded into the dirt. Rostrom will field it. Throws on to first to get the first out of the inning. But advancing to third is LeBlanc. So 1 out and a man on third for the top of the Nor'easter lineup. Gus Lappin will take the plate for the second time. He struck out swinging to open the game. One of 3 strikeouts so far for Rostrom. That's high for ball 1. The shadows from the boxes just beginning to inch into the batter's box. Soon they will obscure the batter. So that's in for a strike. That's hit into center field. Going back on it and making the grab, the Norsemen center fielder, and LeBlanc able to tag up and score. So the Norsemen on the board. The center fielder for the Norsemen, Anthony Poole, making the grab, but no way to stop that run from scoring. Now Chris Balzano will stand in with 2 away and 1 run in. Base is empty. He grounded out to second his last time up. Looks at strike 1. Balzano, a former all-state hockey player in high school at Thornton Academy. One. Fouled straight back. Rostrom was excellent his first 2 frames. Faltered a bit here, but he can still get out of it. The count is full. His first 2 counts were both full. They both resulted in outs, one of those being to Balzano. Payoff pitch, and that is high for ball 4. So that going a bit differently. First walk of the game for Rostrom. Balzano is a 2-out base runner. And Luke Chessie now, another former strikeout victim, will stand in. He has hit the ball well so far this summer. Rostrom got the better of him the first time. We'll see what adjustments he makes. See, he fouls the first pitch high and back. Rostrom's 0-1. Low and away. Same location, same result. 2-1 the count now. Six-two righty deals. Fouled back and off the top of the backstop. Bounced straight up. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Bounced into the crowd. So once again, has a batter on his last strike. Chessie struck out the first time. This one's high again, works another count full. Rostrom throwing a lot of pitches in these first three frames. And as a result, the Norsemen do have a man up in their bullpen. Another one fouled back. And that is strike three. Another second strikeout of the game against Luke Chessie. And the threat ends, but the score is evened, 1-1. Bottom of the third now. Chris Cimino, Kyle Doohan, Riley Hassan due up. On for a third inning of work is Michael Wern. Looking at a strike right down the middle is Chris Cimino, who doubled and drove in a run his first time up. Chops that one over to first. Running on to make the play is Quinn McCaffrey to get the quick first out. So Cimino is retired. Kyle Doohan now lined out to first base his first time up. Chops that one fouled on the right field line. Michael Wern with 2 innings pitched, 2 1/3 now. 3 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, and a wild pitch. Not a terrible line. It's allowed a lot of base runners, only 1 has scored. Similar story for Rostrom. Only 1 hit allowed for him, but lots of errors resulted in men in scoring position. Quick 2 balls and 1 strike on Doohan, the third baseman tonight. Foul back into his own dugout. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Second strikeout of the game for Wern. Quick 2 up, quick 2 down. Riley Hassan in to change that. He walked his first time up. Hits that high into right field, running on and not making the grab. Goes off the glove of the right fielder, Andrew Merrill, and running into second for a 2-base hit is Riley Hassan. On an E9. First error of the game for the Nor'easters. Ben Seguin flied out or grounded into a fielder's choice that caused Chris Cimino to be thrown out at home in the first inning. He fouls that one for strike one. Men on second, quick 0-2 count. Riley Hassan, the two-out base runner. Still, it would be a clean, hitless inning if he is able to sit Seguin down. The first of its kind for Wern in that event. Oh, 2. That's hit right at the second baseman and off his glove and into shallow right. Rounding third is Hassan, and he will go in to score. That is an unearned run if I've ever seen one. An error gets him to second, and an error gets him home as Seguin reaches base on the E4. And Nate Rogers now at the bat, with his team leading by 1. He grounded to short his first time up. That throw to first goes beneath McCaffrey's glove, into second, rounding second, and into third base is Ben Seguin, getting 2 bases off of an errant throw, or an errant catch attempt from the first baseman Quinn McCaffrey. So a man on third with 2 outs. This was looking like a clean inning, but 3 straight errors have Nate Rogers in a prime position to drive in a run. Swing and a miss, strike 2. You saw in the second inning, the first inning, Michael Warren able to navigate out of a jam with minimal damage. That is a ball off the glove of Furman and in to score. And down to first goes Nate Rogers. Just a comedy of errors on that play. Seguin in to score on a pass ball. And Nate Rogers took first base. Still no hits in this inning, but 2 runs in. As Kevin Connolly takes the first pitch low for a ball. He doubled his first time up, or singled, excuse me. That was in the second inning. Hits that one high into right. Running on and not making the play. That's going to roll into the corner. Rounding third is Rogers. He will score. And the third run is in. Connolly with a clean triple. And Rogers scoring all the way from first base to make it a 4-1 ball game. All of this has come with 2 outs. Strike 1 to David Jurowitz, who struck out swinging his first time up. Man, 2 quick outs, then E9, E4, pass ball, and a triple. That's blooped over to first, throwing on to Wern, and tagging to get the force play to retire the side. But 3 errors and a triple caused 3 Norsemen runs to score, all with 2 outs. They lead this one 4-1 as we head to the 4th inning. The top of the first is set to begin, and the Norsemen have made a pitching change. Rostrom out after 3 innings of work, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. All things considered, an exceptional line. but he is sat down in favor of Kyle Sawyer, the sophomore at UMaine Farmington. The 6'1" left-hander, Saco native, Thornton High School graduate. Thornton Academy, excuse me. As a freshman, he made 8 appearances, started once. Allowed 8 runs in 5 innings pitched. He will face off against Dawson Gunlaw, who was hit by a pitch his first time up to lead off the second inning. His team was tied just a frame ago, but now trail by 3 runs to the team 2 games behind them in the standings. That is high for a ball. Gunlaw made first team all-conference as a senior in high school with Thornton Academy before enrolling at Bridgeton Academy. That, of course, was many years ago. He's a senior now. Strike one on a great breaking ball from Sawyer, the secondary education major, 6'1", and that looked like it may have hit him. The umpire says it hits the ground first, so that is ball 3. Gunlaw was thrown out at second base before an error allowed the man behind him, Michael Wern, to reach base. That was in the second inning. The shortstop throwing it about 2 feet over Ben Seguin's head. That's chop foul to stay alive. There were 2 errors in that inning. Overall, 5 of them between both teams, if we count the pass ball as an error. 3-2. High for ball 4. So once again, Gunlaw reaches base by way of the Norsemen pitcher's well. And Michael Wern will step into the batter's box. He reached first on an error, then reached second on an error. Before being stranded there. He's had a busy evening. Had his work cut out for him on the mound. He's allowed 4 runs, but just one of them was earned. And that was in the first inning. He allowed 3 runs last frame, but all of those runners reached base via error. But the error giveth and the error taketh away, as his lone voyage on the base paths got him to second base by way of 2 errors. So he's been involved in all 3 of them. And he has committed exactly 0. That, my friends, is baseball. Swing and a miss for strike 2. Sawyer looking for his first out. And he'll get it right down the middle. Caught him looking for a backwards K. Wern will sit down. And Andrew Merrill reached base. I'll let you take a wild guess as to how he got there. His first time up. If you guessed error, you would be correct. Takes a ball inside. Of course, I do not mean to demean the caliber of player in the Greater Northeast Collegiate Baseball League. These players are all extremely skilled, which is why it is all the more interesting when stuff like this happens. That one blooped into right field for a base hit. Advancing the runner to second with 1 away. Merrill gets a single. Gunlaw down to second. Federico will step in. He struck out swinging his first time up. the Liberty League All-Academic recipient this past year, looks at a breaking ball. Those pitches fall into the strike zone really quickly. Sawyer's already gotten a strikeout with it. That's lined foul. 0-2. Gunlaw on second. Wern on first. Or Merrill, excuse me, on first. And that'll hit him. So the bases will be loaded with one away here in the top of the fourth. Federico aboard via hit by pitch. And Dylan Furman, grounded out to second his first time up, will try to make up some of the runs that were scored against him. Fouls that one back. Very close to my booth. For strike one. Gunlaw, Merrill, Federico. That's hit high into center field. Closing on it is Poole, able to make the catch. And the runners will stay put. Key second out for the man on the mound, Sawyer. Furman is away, and now Jack LeBlond came around to score for the Nor'easters' only run. That was in the third inning. He singled, stole second, and made it home via a deep sac fly from Gus Lappin. The UMaine transfer looks at ball two. Transferred from the Black Bears after not getting any action this past season. Two away for Sawyer, trying to leave him loaded. Outside for ball three. .3-0 count, a golden opportunity for the bottom of the order. You're in there, keep. 3-0, down the middle for a strike. Sawyer deals. Ball four. And that will walk in a run. Gunlaw will come around to score. And our quote-unquote BI, my favorite there from Jack LeBlond. And a mound conference will commence. Kyle Sawyer looked good early. Had a strikeout, but also hit by pitch and 2 walks in this inning. Bases will remain loaded with 2 away, for Quinn McCaffrey, who grounded out to the pitcher. He is the 10th and final man in this lineup. .4-2 the score now. That's outside for ball one. Sawyer looking for the strike zone groove you need to be in, especially in a situation like this. Can't find it on that one. Merrill, Federico, and LeBlond populate the bases. Each one a duck on the proverbial pond. The 2-0 down the middle for strike one. Strike two. Low and away, but just on the edge of the zone to bring the count full. Or 2-2, even, Sawyer's 2-2. Strike three. That was inside, but it caught the corner and Sawyer gets out of it. One run comes in, but he leaves them loaded. And his Norsemen will attempt to extend their lead next. Michael Warren will retake the mound. Or, excuse me, no, we have a pitching change. This is Ryan Penny. So, Warren out after 3 innings of work. 4 hits, 4 runs, just one of them earned. And Ryan Penny in to face off against Davis Kibler, who singled his first time up. Penny, a senior at Husson. Thornton Academy graduate. 6-foot-tall left-hander, made 5 appearances, 1 start as a junior at Husson. Strike 2 down the middle. 7 earned runs in 7 innings pitched. Good for a 9.00 ERA, 1 run per inning. Strike 2. Dual majoring in business administration and financial management. And that was in the dirt for a ball. Bring the count full. Penny's predecessor, really just an unfortunate outing. That's grounded right to Penny, who throws on to Quinn McCaffrey to get him. 1 away. He was allowing contact, but of the 4 runs he allowed, just 1 of them was earned. Also 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. And ball 1 is delivered to the catcher, David York, who flied out to shortstop. His first time up. He hits that one high into shallow left center, running on the center fielder. Brett Federico makes the catch. Quick 2 away. And we'll bring up the top of the order, Anthony Poole, who has singled and scored as well as lined out to short. Gets a load of that one, but right to Federico. Line out, and the umpire is down. He appears to be shaken up. Not entirely sure what happened. My eyes were on the ball as it goes to center field. Looks like he may need a moment. But the side is retired. Quick 3 up and 3 down in relief for Ryan Penny as the 5th inning set to begin here on Old Orchard Beach. Well, the Norsemen going deep into their bullpen here after 1 inning of work. Kyle Sawyer is out, and Cam Doohan is in, the younger brother of Kyle Doohan, who is hitting 3rd in the lineup for the Norsemen. Cameron Doohan is a rising freshman at Colby. Like his brother, he's an Augusta native, Coney High School graduate. Stands 5 feet 11 inches. Ready to face off against Gus Lappin, Chris Balzano, and Luke Chessie. Batters 1, 2, 3 in the Nor'easters lineup. The umpire, for those wondering, was okay. Right after the inning ended, he was up and walking around. Almost done with warm-up routine is Cam Doohan. And Lappin will stand in. He has struck out swinging and sac flied to center, drove in a run. As we have crossed the halfway point in this game. We crossed it half an inning ago, in fact. Top of the 5th. Lapin's Nor'easters trail 4-2, which is their current record, as it happens, 4 wins and 2 losses. I guess the inverse of their current record, you could say. The Norsemen need to make up some ground in the standings. Well on their way to doing just that, but with a new pitcher, the hitters may finally find their stride. That one is flied high and foul out of play for strike 1. Lapin, a 5'10 junior at Hassan, the same school as the current pitcher for the Norsemen. College teammates have both done their part in this one. Lapin accounts for half the RBIs in this game as he swings and misses at strike 2, while Penny gave the Nor'easters a 1-2-3 frame just an inning ago. Runs have not been at a premium in this one. Strike 3 right down the middle. Lapin sits down, his second strikeout of the game. First one for Cam Doohan. That will bring up Brady Graffam, who is in for Chris Balzano. The sophomore at USM looks at a ball. Grounds that one over to third, throwing on. Seguin able to make the play for out number 2. And now Luke Chessie will bat. The hottest hitter on this Nor'easter squad, but he has been silent today. He has struck out swinging and struck out looking. Both of those were against the starter, Gavin Rostrom. And that's a broken bat, foul down the left field line. Or it wasn't a broken bat, he just lost his grip on it. Quick 2 up, 2 down for Cam Doohan in relief. Seeking to become the second straight relief pitcher to have a 1-2-3 frame. That's inside for a ball. Doohan's 1-1. Foul tipped into the ground. Not quite a swing and a miss, but good for strike 2. Chessie has been the spark plug all summer for this 4-2 league-leading team. They need him to start the scoring in this inning. Or at the very least, start the hitting. Two-two. Grounded towards short. Throws on. A little off the bag, but Seguin able to keep his foot on it in a great acrobatic play to retire the side. 3 up, 3 down. Cam Doohan does what Ryan Penny did the frame before him. The bottom of the 5th comes, still 4-2 Norsemen. Both teams going into their bullpens. After one perfect inning, Ryan Penny is out, and Aaron Kiss, the rising freshman at Hassan, soon to be teammates with Penny, is in. Graduated from Massabesic just a few weeks ago. Played his club ball with River Rats. 5'11 righty. Stands in against Chris Cimino. He takes strike 1. Cimino has doubled and grounded out to first. All right, that's a ball. Ball 2 from Kiss. But Chimino able to even it up. The shadows now in full force, covering most of the infield. Apologize for the contrast that may be causing on the display. There's not much I can do about that. 2-2 from Kiss. That's high for ball 3. Payoff pitch. Ball 4. Leadoff walk. Aaron Kiss lets Chimino aboard. And Kyle Doohan will come up. After the perfect frame from his brother on the mound, he will hope to keep the familial success going. Hasn't done much so far. Lined out to first and struck out swinging. Takes ball 1 inside. His Norsemen lead by 2. Here in the bottom of the 5th. Grounds that one to short, but bobbled. Throws on to first, and out! That was a bang-bang play. But the umpire rules him out. Doohan grounds into a fielder's choice. Chimino advancing to second. And Lucas Francis now in, replacing Riley Hassan. Foul back for strike 1. Rising senior at USM is Francis, native of Lisbon, Maine. Lisbon High School graduate. Got most of his reps at USM as a pitcher, 4.89 ERA. Chops that one down the line, just foul. In 46 innings pitched, Francis managed that mark. Majors in history. Was a Mr. Maine baseball finalist his senior year at Lisbon High School, along with making the Maine varsity all-state team. Bloops that one foul to right. As the evening has gone on, this crowd has just gotten bigger. Once again, you cannot see it, but mere pixels underneath the bottom cutoff of this screen. There's many people in attendance here on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Got a little of a light breeze bringing the temperature down. Runner goes, check swing, and that's a foul ball, so Chimino will have to go back to second. 0-2, the count will remain. Francis staying alive, takes ball 1. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. First strikeout of the game for Aaron Kiss. And Lucas Francis sits down. That will bring up Ben Seguin with a runner on second. He has reached on a fielder's choice as well as an error. Strike 1. Had a very interesting trip around the base paths his second time up. Reached on an error by the second baseman. Got to third base on an error by the first baseman. Grounds that to short. Throws on to McCaffrey to retire the side. Opening walk leads to nothing. 4-2, the deficit remains for the Nor'easters. They will hope to chip away at some of it as we head to the 6th inning here at the ballpark. Dawson Gunlaw, Michael Wern, and Andrew Merrill due up in the top of the 6th with Cam Doohan on for another inning of relief work. Gunlaw has been hit by a pitch and walked. Came around to score in the 3rd inning. Or the 4th inning, excuse me. Looks at ball 1. Doohan starts him off 2-0. The Nor'easters have 2 more frames to mount a possible comeback. That one's hit past the shortstop into left center field for a base hit. Into first comfortably is Dawson Gunlaw with his first hit of the game. He's reached base all 3 times. And the shortstop, or third baseman Kyle Doohan, couldn't make a play on that one. So Michael Wern now up. He has singled and struck out swinging. Swings and misses at strike 1. That nearly hit him, hit the dirt first. It's tough to gauge that from the angle that I am at up in the press box, but that will go as a ball in the dirt. Wern working with a man on. He has since been subbed out from pitching, but continues to serve as the designated hitter. That's fouled back into the parking lot for strike 2. Doohan's 1-2. Man on first. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 for the first out of the inning. Michael Wern's second strikeout of the game. Also the second for Cam Doohan. Andrew Merrill up now. He has reached on an error and singled. And Doohan throws over to first. Merrill and Doohan square off. That's fouled toward the bullpen. Merrill, a 6'2" sophomore at East Connecticut State. Former Southern Maine River rat. Frequent denizen of this park. Doohan's 0-1. Fouled back behind the bullpen. Doohan steps off. Now ready to deal his 0-2 offering. In the dirt, about 2 feet before the plate, and that will allow Dawson Gunlaw to safely steal second. There's not much the catcher York could have done about that. So a man in scoring position with one out. One out. Scottish there for a good second. And that's upstairs for ball 2. Doohan Adam 0-2. His offering. That's in the dirt, about the exact same spot. York was ready for it that time. So Gunlaw unable to steal, but the count is brought full. The payoff pitch incoming. Chopped into the dirt. Merrill stays alive. He's reached base twice. One of them a hit. Put the ball in play twice. And that is ball 4. He reaches base for the 3rd straight time. So 2 runners aboard as manager Matt Rogers, catcher David York will come out to talk with Doohan. Brett Federico due up. He's struck out swinging, been hit by a pitch. Now bats with 2 men aboard. 1 away. Could be the beginnings of a rally, perhaps, to get Max Zalewski's Nor'easters back into this game. Doohan looking to put the kibosh on that. His opener deals inside for strike 1. Gunlaw on second. Merrill on first. That is low and away, and both runners will be able to advance. That got through David York's glove. That's the 3rd pitch Doohan has thrown in this inning that has gone to that exact spot in the dirt, his 2nd wild pitch of the frame. So 2 runners in scoring position. A good hit would tie this game. Just like that one. Into left field for a base hit. 1 run is in. Holding up at 3rd is Merrill, but the Nor'easters pull within a run. Gunlaw comes around to score on the 1-out single from Brett Federico. And Ryan Robertson now into bat, replacing Dylan Furman at catcher. With runners on the corners. Robertson, a sophomore in Immaculata. Bowdoin, Maine native, Mount Ararat High School graduate. Had just 1 at bat as a freshman at Immaculata. He struck out. Hoping to clear that bar here to tie this game. Looks at ball 1. The tying run just 90 feet away. His name is Andrew Merrill. Any ball that leaves the infield would likely do it. Runner goes and slides in safe, and taking advantage of the attention on second base. Very smart base running from Andrew Merrill. Able to slide in and tie the game at 4. Doohan had the right read. He threw to first as soon as Federico took off. And Merrill recognized that, took off for home as soon as the throw went home, or the throw went to second. That's the kind of heads-up play that gets your team back in the game. So runner on second now, once again, into the dirt, well short of the mound for ball 3. And the catcher, David York, appears to be discussing something with the umpire and his head coach. I wasn't looking at me. He might have been shaken up. Well, whatever it is, he will remain in the game. Gives the thumbs up. And Robertson will step back in with a 3-1 count. One away, 2 runs already in. Brett Federico at second. That is way outside for ball 4. So Robertson aboard. Federico down to third on the steal. Wild pitch. Third of the inning for Cam Doohan. A wild pitch. I will bring up Jack LeBlond, the shortstop who has singled and walked. Came around to score in the 3rd inning. Stole second and made his way home from second on a Gus Lappin sac fly. Runners on the corners with 1 away. Doohan in a jam. Throws over to first. And that's low for ball 2. Having a hard time finding the strike zone. Much like the reliever before him, Kyle Sawyer, who issued 2 walks. Doohan has issued also that many. And allowed 2 runs to boot. That one inside nearly hit him. Brings the count to 3-0. A walk would load the bases with just 1 out. Bring up the man on deck, Quinn McCaffrey. And that's outside for ball 4. 3rd walk of the inning for Cam Doohan to load the bases here in the top of the 6th. And another mound conference will commence. And this will be a pitching change. So, Coach Matt Rogers has seen enough. The score tied 4-4. The bases loaded with 1 out. Nor'easters in prime position to not only take the lead back, but possibly blow this thing wide open. We will see what the move is when we come back. Well, Cam Doohan is out after an inning and a third. 2 runs allowed, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 3 wild pitches. And the man who will replace him, the submarine righty Lucas Francis. He pinch hit for Riley Hassan an inning ago, and now he takes the mound. As I said, mainly a pitcher in college. He will face off against Hunter Brissett, who is in for Quinn McCaffrey. So he takes ball 1, and that gets away from the catcher York, and that will allow a runner to score. And the lead now belongs to the Nor'easters. All 3 runners will advance on the passed ball. Not the start Francis or his skipper was likely looking for. This top of the 6th has been a long one. Francis is 1-0. That's a ball. Ryan Robertson at third. Jack LeBlond at second. Brett Federico just came in to score. That's strike 1. Federico singled, got to second on a wild pitch. On a steal. Got to third on a wild pitch. and then scored just there on a pass ball. That's chopped into the dirt to even the count. Still just one away in the top of the 6th. 3 runs have scored, 2 more in scoring position. And the tide of this game has completely turned. The 4-2 Nor'easters back in front as Brissett fights one off. He's a sophomore USM, another Lisbon native. Lisbon Falls High School graduate. As a freshman, he had 11 at-bats. Got a hit in one of them. And that is high for ball 4. So the bases once again are loaded. We're at the top of the order now, Gus Lappin. He has struck out twice and driven in a run on a sac fly. So 2 straight walks from Lucas Francis makes 5 total in this inning. That's chop foul. Excuse me, 4. Cam Doohan finished with 2. I had a mistake in my scorecard. 1-0. Hit into left. And that will drop for a base hit. 1 run will score. The runners will stay put at their new bases. Ryan Robertson comes around to score. Jack LeBlond into third, Hunter Brissett into second. And Gus Lappin, his first hit of the game, into first base for the 4th run of the inning. And outside for ball 1 on Brady Graffam, who grounded to third his first time up an inning ago. Strike 1. We are just 2 batters away from having batted around in this inning. The Nor'easters pulling away here. A game they once trailed 4 runs to 1. They now lead by 2. Way outside. Great stop by David York. 3rd ball from Francis. Has yet to record an out. 2 walks and a single. He's allowed 2 runs. Swing and a miss for strike 2. And that's in the dirt for another walk. So another run will score. Home comes LeBlond. Brissett down to third. Lappin to second. And Graffam now moves to first on Lucas Francis' 3rd walk. And that's hit high into left field. Able to make the grab is the left fielder, but tagging and scoring is Hunter Brissett. So Luke Chessie, that was the batter there with a sac fly. And now the man who started the inning, with 2 away, Dawson Gunlaw started the inning with a single, and his team hasn't looked back. Smacks that into left field, running on and making the grab to retire the side is Nate Rogers, but A 2-run deficit becomes a 4-run lead. 6 runs come around to score in the top of the 6th. The Nor'easters lead this one by 4. Norsemen looking for an answer. Will they find one? Stay tuned. To the bottom of the 6th we go with Aaron Kiss back in for another inning of work. He is all of a sudden finds himself in the position to get the win in this game with Nate Rogers coming up to the plate. He grounded to short and reached first on a passed ball. Later came around to score on the Kevin Connolly triple for one of his team's 4 runs. But what was looking like a comfortable lead has been shattered and replaced by a daunting 4-run deficit. That's chopped in the infield and thrown on to first. Making the play there is the new first baseman Brady Graffam, to get the first out of the inning. Well, scoring 4 runs isn't something the Norsemen particularly struggle at. They did so earlier in this game. Kevin Connolly back up for his 3rd time. He has singled and tripled in this game. A productive night for him. Swings and misses for strike 2. Kiss with 2 quick outs. And 2 quick strikes on batter number 3. Just inside for a ball. One, 2. Outside to even the count. Two. Foul back to the backstop. Stays alive. Does Connolly. His father, Mike Connolly, is the head coach of Bowdoin baseball. Kisses 3-2, fouled into the dirt. If Robertson had been able to snag that with his glove, it would have ended the inning, but Connolly survives to see another pitch. And that pitch is fouled back once more. Two. Swing and a miss. He struck him out for a nice clean 1-2-3 inning, pulling up his end of the deal after his team, or excuse me, that was the second out. I must have gotten lost in my play card there. That's extremely embarrassing. Second out of the inning. Connolly is down on strikes. Second strikeout of the game for Kiss. And the first strike is dealt to David Jurowitz, who was the 3rd man due up. I don't know how I got confused on that. He takes a ball. Mistakes are occasionally made. The St. Joseph sophomore has made a couple of those himself. He has struck out swinging, grounded out to the pitcher. Now with a 1-2 count. Grounds that fair to the 3rd baseman. Throws across and unable to make the play. Probably would have been safe even if the throw had been on line to Graffam. So Jurowitz aboard with 2 down. 2 out single. Brings up Jack Cody, who will bat for Davis Kibler. A sophomore at Husson. Thornton Academy graduate. Looks at strike 1. Batted .143 on 14 at-bats as a freshman. Drove in 1 run. While majoring in criminal justice. This field now almost fully enveloped in shadow, and the lovely folks viewing this game at home can now see the outfield, which is always a good thing. The sky appears white to you, but trust me, it is blue. Some clouds have moved in, but nothing too crazy. Got jammed on that one. Fouls it down the first base line. 2 down, but 1 man aboard. Oh, and they're going to say that hit him. So, Jack Cody aboard with hit by pitch. First of the game for Kiss and the entire Nor'easter squad. And David York will bat. He has flied out to the third baseman and flied out to center. So now 2 men aboard. Perhaps the beginnings of something. An inning after the Norsemen saw their lead evaporate. That one flied back out of play for strike 2. And 3 batters removed from when the always reliable play-by-play announcer decreed their inning over. So you're going to prove me wrong on this 0-2. That is, gets past the catcher Robertson, and both runners will advance. A pass ball puts 2 men in scoring position with 2 down. Jurowitz and Cody at third and second, respectively. The 1-2 outside for a ball. Robertson with a great diving stop. Kiss deals. Strike 3. Well, why don't you just splice my 2 calls of those together? 2 men in scoring position, but no runs, and the inning ends pretty much exactly the way it would have normally if I had been right the first time. The 7th and final frame set to begin with an 8-4 margin in favor of the Nor'easters. Well, a couple innings ago, this particular frame, the top of the second, looked like it might end up being the Nor'easters' last hope. Instead, it's a chance to tack on some insurance with Michael Wern, Andrew Merrill, and Brett Federico, the heart of the lineup, due up, with Lucas Francis on for another inning of work, looking to close out the defensive portion of the outing for the Norsemen with no further damage. And the first man he will face is Andrew Merrill. He has reached base all 3 times. Reached on an error, he singled and walked. He has scored twice. Slow for a ball. Francis is a history major. He is accustomed to thinking about events that happened in the past, but that last inning might be something to forget, as that's chopped right to him. The glove happened to be in the right place at the right time and able to throw on to Seguin to get the first out of the inning. Michael Wern sits down. And now Andrew Merrill. I apologize. Michael Wern was up on that particular plate appearance. The past at-bats that I attributed to Wern were actually this guy, Andrew Merrill. Wern reached base in the first inning, but has not since. Merrill chops that one down the third base line, double clutch, and that is a safe call from the umpire. Just too late for Seguin to record the out, so Merrill outruns the grounder. And 1 aboard with 1 away in the top of the 7th. And Brett Federico ready to bat. He has struck out swinging. He's also been hit by a pitch and singled. Later stealing second, reaching third on a wild pitch, and scoring on a passed ball. 2 throws down to first from Francis. He loves those pickoff attempts. Now deals ball 1 to Federico. Low for ball 2. Submariner gets to find that control that he lost for the majority of the nightmare that was the top of the 6th inning. Or perhaps inherited from the man he replaced, Cam Doohan. The pitcher's mound perhaps just cursed for that particular frame. Able to net a strike by way of a foul ball. Now deals the 2-1. Runner goes high for ball 3. Throw into second, and that's going to be out. Had him out by 2 feet. So Merrill is retired. 2 away. But a 3-1 count. Now with the base paths empty, Federico will seek to replace him. Francis trying to end the frame. And that will be ball 4. So just as quickly as a man is struck down on the base paths, another man replaces him. Federico on board. That is Francis's 4th walk in just 1 inning pitched. Ryan Robertson now. He walked his first time up, later came around to score, as did most of the people that reached base in the top of the 6th. He gets a base hit into right center field. Holding up at second base is Federico. Robertson aboard with 2 down. His second hit of the game, or second on-base appearance of the game. And now Hunter Brissett. He also walked the first time he saw Lucas Francis and also came around to score. I believe he was walked in. Looks at strike 1. Two men on. They are a pickoff away from the bases being loaded. Great piece of fielding from the catcher, now Kevin Connolly in. David York no longer behind the plate. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Francis sizing up his runners. Steps into his delivery. Outside. The crowd here at the ballpark has gotten treated to an interesting game. A game of swings, a game of runs. That's low to bring the count full. What looked like a Norsemen win turned into what was maybe a run away from being classified as a Nor'easter's rout. As it stands, an 8-4 margin. Runners both go. That is hit right at the pitcher Francis, who throws on to Seguin to retire the side. No runs scored from 3 base runners. The bottom of the 7th is coming up. The Norsemen have a mountain to climb, but they've done it earlier in this game. Can they double their run total and take this game to extras or to a win? Stay tuned. We will find out at the ballpark. Bottom of the 7th start to begin. The Norsemen trail by 4. They're down to their final 3 outs, but they are the heart of the lineup. Batters 2, 3, and 4. Chris Cimino, Kyle Doohan, and Lucas Francis represent the last hope for the 1-3-1 Norsemen squad. First up, I'm sorry, this is Anthony Poole. I skipped a batter when I was scoring. Poole, Cimino, and Doohan are the four. Poole has singled, lined out to short, and lined out to center. Playing center tonight. Second straight ball, low beneath the strike zone. Aaron Kiss back on for his third inning, looking for a save. That's chopped up the middle. Diving stop is in vain from the shortstop Jack LeBlond, and a man aboard to start the bottom of the seventh. Anthony Poole with a single, his second of the game, and now Chris Cimino, who has doubled, walked, and grounded out to first. He was thrown out at home in the first inning. Advanced to second on a Kyle Doohan fielder's choice, has not found his way home. One man on. Represents the halfway run, a term that I'm just now defining. Doohan does. Dusk beginning to set on here in Old Orchard Beach. One, nope. Throws over to first. Pitcher's always mindful of those base runners, especially in a situation like this. Runner goes outside for a ball and unable to be fielded cleanly by Robertson, so Poole's got himself a stolen base. Man in scoring position now. Two one. Chop towards short. Running on and throwing to get the out. First out of the three necessary to end this one, but down to third goes Poole. Jack LeBlond's been busy at short. Now Lucas Francis struck out swinging his first time up. Hits that one hard, but foul into the parking lot. That had the distance to possibly clear the fence if it had been a little further left of that foul pole. Ball one outside. That was a close one. Called ball two. Ball three is low. Doohan works the count to a 3-1. Hitter's delight. Kiss is offering. Chop foul brings the count full. Doohan stays alive. Kiss needs just two more outs. The runner on third is not cataclysmic if he were allowed to score. They have quite a bit of leeway from the 6th inning. That's high for ball 4. The runner able to score. Not fielded cleanly by Ryan Robertson, and Anthony Poole in to make it an 8-5 ball game. As Kiss, issues his second walk. Doohan is aboard with 1 away. And that'll hit him right in the head. Lucas Francis sees 1 pitch and reaches base. First hit by pitch of the game, second for Kiss. And that will bring up Ben Seguin. Has reached base on a fielder's choice, reached base on an error, and grounded out to short. Max Zalewski and Ryan Robertson will hold a mound conference. As the tying run now at the plate with 1 away. Just 1 deep hit into the cavernous outfield here at the ballpark could make this a 2 or even a 1-run game and cause the sweat glands of Nor'easters players and fans alike to begin to produce. That's inside and high for a ball. Two and out. Runners on first and second. Doohan and Francis, respectively. 1 run is already in. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Poole singled, stole second, advanced to third on a Chris Cimino ground out, and reached home when Ryan Robertson failed to secure ball 4. That is the reason Kyle Doohan is on base right now. That was another swing and a miss to bring the count to 2-2. Kiss is offering. Low, and advancing to third is Kyle Doohan. So the count goes to full. Doohan has himself a steal. Runners on the corners. Full count, 1 away, 3-run deficit for the home Norsemen. Payoff pitch. Strike 3. Outside, but in the zone. Seguin looks at a strikeout, and the Norsemen are down to their last out. And his name is Nate Rogers. He's grounded out to short twice and reached base on a passed ball. Runner goes. Robertson will not attempt to throw. Francis gets a steal. So 2 runners in scoring position. Rogers is the tying run, currently at the plate. Down the middle for strike 1. Smacks that one into right field for a base hit. 1 run is in. Rounding third and scoring, sliding in to score, is Lucas Francis rather. And a 1-run ball game here in the bottom of the 7th. Things just got very interesting. A 2-run double from Nate Rogers. Scores Doohan from third and Francis from second. Now the winning run steps to the plate with 2 outs. Kevin Connolly. He has singled, tripled, and struck out swinging. The tying run is 180 feet away. First pitch, a swinging strike. Kiss can still get the save here. He's allowed 3 runs. But he has not blown the lead completely. Low and inside for a ball. Rogers is the tying run in scoring position. Kiss, 1-1. Line foul past the diving glove of, or gloveless hand of the Norsemen manager / third base coach. As the Norsemen are down to their final strike. They have come all the way back in this 7th inning. Turned a 4-run deficit into a 1-run deficit. The 1-2. That is strike 2. Nope, strike 3. Well, it's the funniest thing. Sometimes the game rules are not made abundantly clear to the poor play-by-play guy. This game is not, in fact, a 7-inning regulation game, but a 9-inning game. And as a result, this 8-7 thriller is far from over. As confusing as it may be, the upside is that we get more baseball and more Lucas Francis as he is on for his 2nd full inning of work. As the lights come on in Old Orchard Beach, he deals strike 1. To David Jurowitz. That's Riley Hassan, who flies out to right. Hassan subbed in for Jurowitz. One away. So the drama continues. This game has several chapters yet to be written. As the bench is beginning to be emptied, Liam Coolidge now batting for Jack Cody. He's a rising junior at Southern Maine Community College. Is Coolidge, Westbrook High School graduate. Hit .372 with a home run, batted in 10 runs his sophomore season at SMCC. 1-1 outside. Francis continues. He's pitched 2 full innings. Allowed 3 runs. And that will hit him. Or get away from the catcher regardless. It is a base runner. Coolidge is aboard. We're going to say that was a pass ball. Now Francis will face off against Chris Cimino. Not sure if he was subbed or if there's just a different lineup. He takes a strike. I apologize. I was blindsided by the length of this game, and as a result, am not completely keyed in on the rules at play here, but nevertheless, 2-2, the count will stay. Chimino is doubled, walked, grounded out, and flied out. And on that one, he swings and misses for a strikeout. First of the game for Francis. And now Kyle Sawyer will bat. So this may just be a completely new lineup. Runner goes, but that is fouled back. That made a very loud sound. Not sure where that hit. Runner aboard is Liam Coolidge. At first via the walk. It's inside for a ball. Baseball is just a game of mystery, you know, game of enigma. Keeps you on your toes. Player or broadcaster, you have to be adaptable. Runner goes. That throw is offline, and into second base with a steal is Coolidge. Sawyer has a 2-1 count. I apologize. This is Luke Chessie. I have been filling this out on the wrong page. So that makes a lot more sense now. Hunter Brissett is the man on second. Excuse me, Gus Lappin is the runner on second. And this is Luke Chessie at the bat, who draws a walk. I'm not sure how I managed to pull that off, but we are all set now. That was the 5th walk of the game for Lucas Francis. And that brings up the entirely predictable hitter, Dawson Gunlaw. I think I would have figured that out eventually because not all these names overlap. We'll chalk that up to being a bit confused at the length of the game. I was looking at the wrong roster. But we are all set now, 2 down in the top of the 8th. Dawson Gunlaw. That ball gets through to the backstop. Both runners will advance. Chessie to second and Lappin to third. Gunlaw has been hit by a pitch, walked, singled, and flied out to left. Has scored twice. 1-1. Inside for a ball. That's chopped foul. The St. Joseph Senior with a 2-2 count. Francis deals. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout of the inning, leaving men on second and third. Norsemen unable to add to their lead, or Nor'easters, excuse me, unable to add to their lead. The Norsemen will hope to chip away some more as the bottom of the 8th approaches. Pitching change is in order for the Nor'easters as the bottom of the 8th is ready to begin. Aaron Kiss is out, and Colin McDonald, the sophomore at USM, is in. Graduated from Gorham High School in 2022. Ready to face Jurowitz, Cody, and York, the 8, 9, and 10 hitters in this lineup. Apologies, I had to pause there. I was erasing the remains of the carnage I inflicted on my scorecard. First man due up is Hayden Dipner, who will bat for Jurowitz. Dipner, a rising freshman at USM. Graduate of Mount Blue High School up in Farmington. Takes strike one. Played club ball for the River Rats. Now gets to play under the lights. Quick 2 strikes, despite the objection from Dipner. Stands at 5'9". Takes a ball. His opponent, McDonald, will likely close this one out. Or at least attempt to, barring any scoring in this frame. Fouled back to stay alive. One, two. Outside for a ball. The Norsemen, despite the decrees of the man you're listening to, still very much in this game, 1 run behind. That is strike 3. Dipner not still in that plate appearance. He will sit down with a backwards K. And now Jack Cody, who was hit by pitch his first at bat after taking over for Davis Kibler. Evening now in full swing. Dusk rapidly beginning to fall. As we get some true evening baseball under the lights here in the ballpark in Old Orchard Beach. What better way would there be to spend an evening? I certainly can't think of any. McDonald's 1-0 in for a strike. Cody, 6-foot criminal justice major, cuts and misses at strike 2. Reached base the first time, later made it to second by way of a pass ball, but was ultimately stranded there. One, two. Strike 3. Second straight looking strikeout. McDonald off to a blazing start. Dating back to the 7th inning, this is now the 4th of the last 5 Norsemen batters to look at strike 3, whiz past them. David York has struck out swinging in this game. Also flied out to shortstop and to center field, has not reached base yet. Looks at strike 1. Also responsible for a few pass balls. Had to duck out of the way of that one for ball. Bottom of the 8th. No runners on. 2 out. Nor'easters lead 8-7. Just nicked the corner for strike 2. No immaculate inning possible for McDonald, but 3 strikeouts is as good an inning as you could ask for. Instead, he'll have to settle for a dribble down the third base line. Throws on to Graffam to end the inning. Retire the side. 3 up, 3 down. Efficient inning of work for Colin McDonald. And to the 9th inning, the final frame for real this time. The Norsemen will try to tack on some insurance. under the lights at the ballpark. Lucas Francis back out to assume closing duties against the trio of Wern, Merrill, and Federico, who began the 6th inning as well. Seventh, excuse me. That one's grounded to second. Throwing on high throw, but time to record the out. Quick one pitch out for Michael Wern. Now Andrew Merrill. He has singled 3 times and walked. He's also been picked off and come around to score. Looks at strike 1. Apologies, in the previous inning there was a bit of a glare, the reflection of the iPhone that's being used to record this game. I made an adjustment, turned the brightness down, that seems to have fixed it. Apologies if that was distracting to anyone. The angle might have also slightly changed. Outside corner, strike 2. Francis has settled down since his first couple innings. He has 5 walks, but 4 of them were in his first outing. That one grounded to Dewan. Throws across to Seguin for the second out. And 2 away. Wern and Merrill both sat down. Brett Federico has struck out swinging, been hit by a pitch, walked, and singled. Hits that high and deep into left field, going back on it and onto the warning track. Left fielder Nate Rogers has to go back for it. Looked like that might have enough to get out of there for a second, but as it is a stand-up double for Brett Federico, he reaches base for the 4th straight time. And we'll bring up Ryan Robertson, who has walked and singled. The way Nate Rogers out and left was backpedaling, I initially thought that ball might be on its way out. It was about as close to leaving the ballpark as is possible to do without even bouncing off the wall. It landed in the deepest section of the 312 and change foot fence out there. There's a quick 2 strikes onto Robertson. Furman deals. Fouled back to stay alive. That might have smashed a chair or 2. Robertson fights another one off. Two 0-2. Swing and a miss to end the inning. Lucas Francis does his job and gives his bats, for real this time, one final chance to make up 1 run in the bottom of the 9th. This is how baseball is meant to go, and you will see the thrilling conclusion next. Top of the order due up in the bottom of the 9th for the Norsemen. Poole, Cimino, and Dewan will each get a crack at evening or winning this game, as Colin McDonald, after a flawless 1-2-3 8th, back on to complete the save. In as a closer. First up will be Anthony Poole. He has singled twice and lined out twice. Also scored twice. in this 8-7 barn burner. May be about to come to an end, but the outcome still far from determined. We have seen both of these teams score in huge bursts, and while McDonald has looked excellent, you never really do know. That one's chopped to Jack LeBlond at short, throws on to Graffam at first to get the first out of the inning. One away. So Chris Cimino now in. He has doubled, walked, and grounded out twice. Also been thrown out at home in the first. First ball that McDonald has thrown in a while. Second straight opening pitch that he's unable to field cleanly on the throwback. Luckily no runners aboard to punish him for that. 1-0 here as night begins to fall. The Nor'easters trying to bring their record to 5-2, excuse me. McDonald's 1-0. Just high for ball 2. Cimino not fooled by the fastball. He deals. That's outside. And after 2 strikeouts to lead off last inning, McDonald with a 3-0 count. Shaking it off. Right down the middle for a strike. And that's hit up the middle for a base hit between the converging Chessie and LeBlond. So a base runner with 1 away. A single from Cimino, his second hit of the game. And that will bring up Kyle Doohan, the third hitter. He's reached base just once. He's walked. Also lined out, struck out, and actually he did reach base via fielder's choice. Still no hits. 0 for 2 with 2 alternate methods of getting aboard. The Robertson not making the perfect stop, but Cimino doesn't capitalize. Night is truly beginning to fall. It's getting to the point where even in this booth, things are getting a bit dark. They tease you with the illusion of a light bulb with a convenient light switch right next to it, but that is hit high and deep, and that is gone. A home run to walk it off for the Norsemen. Kyle Doohan, his first hit of the game, and a walk-off win all the way back from down 8-4 in the 7th inning. It is a win for the 1-3, now 2-3-1 Norsemen. An incredible finish to an incredible game. Kyle Doohan, the hero for his underdog squad. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will do it on an instant classic game in the Greater Northeast Collegiate Baseball League. The final score, Norsemen 9, Nor'easters 8, here at the ballpark. Once again, I'm Charlie Fellows, and if you like that, you should tune in to the next game I call on this very same YouTube channel. I will see you then. Have a good one.